Yeah, that snap was way over the quarterback's head for Anderson. He had no chance. Anderson's actually lucky that a Bowie player couldn't recover the end zone for a touchdown. So it results in a safety, 2-0 Bowie.
Well, you'll take the lead, you'll take the points however you could get them, that is for sure. A 2-0 lead with 8:07 left to go here in the first quarter of play, as the Bowie Bulldogs now have the lead and are now getting the ball back as well because of the safety. So instead of electing to punt the ball away because you have your option to punt or kick off after a safety, they're going to send out their kicker who will elect to kick this one off, as the ball will have to be kicked off not from the 35, but from the actual 20-yard line. So this should be good field position, as the deep man for the Bulldogs, number 11, Bryson Hopkins, is standing at the Bowie 30-yard line. So let's see what happens here, guys. A big mistake for the Trojans. Let's see if they can fix this, and let's see if Bowie can capitalize here on the good field position, as number 8, Adam Hotchman, is going to be set to kick off. He kicks a little squib kick. Nice job by the sophomore, number 2, Wes Higgins. Heads-up play. That had been a problem earlier on for the Bulldogs this season, as they had a lot of snafus on special teams, but that has been picked up. Well done by the coaches there, especially the special teams coach, as number 22, Wes Higgins, was all over that one and will keep good field position for the Bulldogs. Ball spotted at the 46-yard line. It's going to be first down and 10. As the Bulldogs show a little bit of their tight pistol formation. The handoff to Jonathan up the left-hand side and gets a really good hole there. And we might see a fumble here at the end. They're going to say that he was already down, though, and that's going to bring up second down. So a good run by Jonathan. You want to make sure that you hold on to that one a little bit longer. As that's going to bring up second down and 2. From the 33 with 7:35 and counting in this first quarter. Dickey in shotgun when Jonas set to his left-hand side, twins to the left. And he throws the wide receiver screen. This time it is complete to number 3, Raylon Mays. It looks like it might be enough for a first down, guys. We got to see. As number 24, DeJohn Houston, was on the tackle.
I believe that one wasn't quite far enough for a first down. That's going to bring down 3rd and 1.
So a very pivotal 3rd down and 1 here early on. Ball at the 32. Pistol formation for the Bulldogs. There's a handoff on the trap to Gino Jonathan, and he has that and much more. As he's finally brought down, and he finally got hit. He was untouched until he got to around the 32-yard line.
Looks like he accidentally stepped on the back of one of his linemen there, and unfortunately that's what started to bring him down on that case.
Well, number 20, Matt Lynn's on the tackle for the Trojans, but it's going to bring up a first down for the Bulldogs as they are nearing red zone territory, as the Dog Show is doing a terrific job on offense on their second offensive series here. Shotgun formation once again. No running backs in the backfield. As Dickey decides to keep it. A design run up the middle as he's hit hard, but he gets another good 6-yard gain on the play. As number 15, Blake Allen for the Trojans makes the tackle. Dickey doing a nice job once again for the Bulldogs here, as number 44, Mason Belk, the senior, who we've seen more action as of late, especially in the last 2 games from that fullback position, has been coming in. So Belk lined up as the lone running back in this set, twins to the right-hand side, and you have McLeod in the slot. There's the handoff to the motion man, who was number 11, Bryson Hoskins, as he's brought down from behind the line of scrimmage by number 14, Fletcher Roberts. And Roberts has been having a pretty decent game here early on for the Trojans.
Yeah, Fletcher Roberts, the safety, he's pretty far deep when the play starts, and he's able to diagnose the play and go make a nice tackle for a loss there. Nice play by Fletcher Roberts.
Have to admit that must have come from the film session viewing or good coaching by the Trojans, as Roberts read that one the whole way through. But sometimes you guess the blitz right, and sometimes you guess it wrong, and this time it was correct. So Bulldogs go no huddle, 3rd down and 10. They really don't want to squander this field position, as they were trying to get lined up and elect to take a timeout.
Looks like there was a little bit of confusion on the field, maybe a man out of position there. Had him in motion, think he was supposed to be set at the line, wasn't quite sure. You could see him throw his hands up, but we did be forced to call a timeout. That's going to burn one that hopefully you don't want to have to use this early in the game.
So currently with the 2-0 lead with 5:19 left to go here in the first quarter of play, the Bowie Bulldogs are up against the visiting Anderson Trojans. And that's the only problem that you usually will come across with a no-huddle offense. Sometimes people just don't know where they're supposed to be, or there's a code name that might have changed earlier in the week during practice. And it was just one of those times where everybody's focus is just that some people just probably didn't hear what they thought they heard, and the timeout had to be burned.
That win tonight, especially even with the helmets on, a lot of times it does obscure any possible play callings or changes, audibles that may be called, does sometimes make it a little bit of difficulty down there on the field, even to hear what your quarterback's calling.
You know, that is a fantastic point that you brought up there, Marcus. We are fortunately up here in the booth where it's nice and toasty, but down there at field level, it's quite windy. As Dickey stops back to pass, and like you just said, something might have happened there as the flags come out early. It might have been illegal motion. So it was false start by the offense, and that would have negated a beautiful play as Dickey is able to throw with the wind here in the first half of play. Or, excuse me, the first quarter of play.
They seem to be making some pretty good progress with the ball. We'd like to see a little bit more. Fortunately, we observed the kicker before the game putting up some very long field goals. Hopefully, if we aren't able to convert on this critical third down here, hopefully that'll give us the opportunity still to put some points on the board.
Especially as we have the wind change here in the state of Texas. It's a little bit colder than you would like, so a lot of those hands not going to make some of those catches very easy here. As Hopkins is in motion, it's going to be trips to the left-hand side. That one looked like it was going to be for Hopkins. Instead, it started just to be it, and just like that, even with the gloves on, like we said, the cold weather will have an effect here for these guys, as this is like their first cold weather game that they have had to play this season, and it's been abnormally hot here in Austin, Texas is late. I mean, earlier on today I was able to wear shorts. It was 80 degrees outside, and we're almost to November. So, not going to take any chances here. They're going to elect to kick a field goal here. This one's a 45-yarder as Casas puts this one up. And it had lots of room to go with. Of course, he was kicking with the wind, but Casas is able to kick those things from so far. And just like that, it looks like the score that you would see in a baseball game, 5-0 here with 5:05 left to go in the first quarter.
Sure made that field goal look easy, I have to admit. He's got a great foot on him. He was putting them up from even further out earlier. And you just, it always helps to kick with the wind, but I'm not surprised that he was able to get the distance on that one.
And just in case you guys are wondering, the World Series Game 6, the Rangers and the Cardinals are currently tied as the Cardinals are getting ready to bat 2-2 apiece. So it looks like they're going to be having a really good Game 6 tonight. So don't you worry, guys. We'll keep you updated with everything so you don't have to miss a minute of the action for either sport. And that's the best coverage we can bring to you here live at the Quarterback One Radio Network. Brian Caudill, as well as Marcus Kirkham and me, Smash Simmons, bring you the live play-by-play here from Austin, Texas at the Burger Center. So Dylan Bolt's going to have to hold this one down on the kickoff just because it is so windy going from west to east. Just crazy weather we're having here in Austin, but when you live in Texas long enough, you kind of get accustomed to it. As number 16, Caleb Garza, will get set to kick this one off. Garza with the approach and kicks this one very deep as he's kicking with the wind and clears the end zone once again. And that is a very big weapon to have on your special teams when you know that the other team will be forced to start from their own 20-yard line on every offensive series after you score points.
An interesting note as they're getting set up here. As the last time Anderson had to kick the ball, it was an interesting choice to not put it as deep as possible. They only put it for about 20 or 30 yards, which is kind of a surprising choice.
Good reference there, Marcus. 5:05 as it's going to be tight wing T formation, one wide out to the back, and there is that counter trap run as he is brought down from behind by number 14, Jeremy Jackson. As number 8, Adam Holcomb, gets about 4 yards on the carry. He's going to bring up second down and 6, ball at the 24, 4:45 and counting in this first quarter. And again, guys, like we said earlier, this is a very different offense to go against that this defense is used to seeing in this district. Tie formation once again, I formation this time. There's the play action fake. Quarterback has to step back up as he's met by 3 or 4 Bulldogs that could have had that sack a lot earlier. And he's brought down way behind the scrimmage for the quarterback sack.
So far, Anderson's passing game has been pretty ineffective so far. Their best receiver is Justin Montemayor. He's had 1 catch so far, but other than him, they don't have many receivers they can throw to.
Well, number 92, the senior, having a good night so far. His second sack of the game, that one is Brendan Berry. 3rd down and 8 from the 22. The Bulldogs can stop him here. You can expect a punt. This one's a pitch out to the outside, and he has some running room as Dash Harris makes the hit as he goes out of bounds. Number 5 on the carry, though, Devontae DeWitty. As we do have a flag on the play, let's see what the call will be from the officials. I have to give them some credit. That was some very creative play calling as they went with the counter movement. Everybody going to the left or the near side of the field as the pitch was to the far side of the field, the right-hand side. But very good disciplined defense by the safeties, especially Harris as he was able to make the tackle. So 4th down and 2, ball at the 28-yard line. With him getting pushed out of bounds, is going to stop the clock at 3:45 here in the first quarter.
I'd be wary of any kind of fake punt here by Anderson. We already saw an onside kick on a safety. After the safety, let's see what they do on the 4th down here.
And it looks like the coaches have initialed that one too, as that one almost goes over the head of the punter. And it's going to be fair caught by Hopkins with good field position, as it should be called down, and it will be, as the ball will be spotted at the 47-yard line.
High punt, not giving him a much chance for a return. With the win tonight, that was actually probably a very wise decision to call that one as a fair catch. Make sure that you don't bobble the ball, don't lose the ball. Get yourself some good field position without any risk of taking a shot or dropping it.
Do have to admit that was a pretty decent punt, though, by the punter, considering that he was kicking into the wind. So the offense will come out again for the Bulldogs. It's going to be pistol formation, this time handed off, turned around. And Gino Jonas, it gets through the initial hole with ease. And then he's met hard by the secondary. That was number 20, Matt Linz, once again on the tackle for the Trojans. As we are starting to know, as a lot of these Trojan players play both ways, just like your Bowie Bulldogs do. So it's going to be a game of a little bit of Iron Man contest here. So it's going to be 2nd down and about 4 yards to go as the ball is spotted at the 41-yard line. There's the handoff once again, this time more traditional sweep as Gino Jones tries to get to the outside. Good hit, though, and a nice tackle by number 14, Fletcher Roberts. As Fletch doing a nice job once again for the Trojans.
He's done real well staying at home, staying disciplined, making sure he's not overextending himself into the backfield and waiting for the running backs to come to him. He's going to be somebody you want to avoid if you're carrying the ball out there.
Well, during the production meeting, guys, we did admit that this is probably going to be the toughest test of the district season thus far that the Bulldogs will come across before they get ready for the Austin Westlake game next week. So you're seeing a very good defensive team in Anderson thus far. 2:25 left to go in the first quarter. As he lost yards on the play, Dickey back to pass in the shotgun. Steps up in the pocket. Looks like he's going to want to run this one, and he's going to, but couldn't make his decision quick enough. And he's going to be brought down for a short gain, possibly about 3 yards, as the ball will be spotted at the 43-yard line.
It was a good pocket presence there as he realized the pocket was collapsing around him, took one of the options to leave. Even though he did have a little bit of indecision there at the end, he made a great call to make sure he got some positive yardage there.
Well, he did get some positive yardage out of there, so this should make this punt a little bit more interesting as Costas is back to punt, has some room to work with here. As it doesn't look like the Trojans are going to send anybody to return this one, and they did not. Costas going to go coffin corner with this one as it hits right at around the 15-yard line. So better than a touchback and better than his last punt that rolled out of bounds. And this will give very tough starting field position for the Trojans as they come back on for their offensive series. 1:36 left to go in the first quarter of play.
You know, the Anderson Trojans have neglected to actually put somebody back to receive the punts in the last two kickoffs that both the Bowie Bulldogs have had in this first quarter.
You mean punts?
Isn't that what I said?
Kickoffs.
Oh, sorry.